Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today we're going to be doing a what sold video for Monday through Thursday, April 20th through the 23rd. We went out this weekend yard selling, hoping to grab, a few treasures. And yesterday we didn't. We found a few things, which, it's better than nothing. Did a whole lot of driving. Decided I was going to go one more time, famous last words, one more time to this one estate sale. But it was forever away. Hour and a half away from us, middle of nowhere. But there was a couch full of plush that I was very interested in. And when we got there, all of them were still there. That should have been Q1 because it had already been going for
30 minutes to an
30 to an hour. All the prices were ridiculous. Teeny tiny little plush, $10. It almost seemed like it was by size. The medium plush is $15, larger plush is $20, Furbies were $40. Everywhere you looked, the prices were just ridiculous. Never again. I'm not going back there anymore.
Today they're having 75% off sale.
75% off because they weren't selling anything. And I'm thinking, why don't you just be realistic with your prices and let people buy when they come? Everything was just ridiculous. And then throw a 75% off sale. I don't understand that. Maybe they did make a whole lot of money, but we left with nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it was irritating. But then today we went out. First we thought we might drive in the other direction of our town and try to find some community sales and yard sales and stuff. And I wasn't feeling well, so I said, let's just go hit some local stuff. And I found some treasures. A couple. So that, made the sour taste in my mouth about this estate sale company, better.
We stopped by, what was a store? There's a store out in the middle of nowhere. Not Cousins, but Cotton's Country Store. It's a little store out in the middle of nowhere. They serve breakfast and stuff all day kind of thing. And we stopped in there and a friend from Co-op was there. So I got to chat with him for a few minutes. We didn't go to Co-op this year, although we're still a member of the group. But I didn't get to chat with him this year like I used to. So it was nice catching up with him.
Yeah. And now we're home. I made a sale on eBay today that's a local pickup. I don't have it set up that way, so when I get information about somebody wanting to do a local pickup, I had to go in, set up a business policy that included local pickup, and then in the listing, and then relist it with the local pickup. And they did follow through, so we're going to do that at 4:30 today.
You wouldn't have had to have done that, but they'd already sent an offer on it. Because there was an offer, you had to end it. If they'd sent a message, you could have just changed the business policy on that listing, and then they could have purchased it, but not with the offer hanging out there. Today we're going to talk about Rebel is
extremely careful with money.
Yes.
She's tightwad, y'all. And
this is how you pay off your mortgage in 12 years.
That's true. But sometimes you got to release that grip a little bit. And she grumbles about Poshmark fees. And somebody left a comment and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Well, let me go ahead and share with you some of the things that I sold on Etsy, Mercari, Posh, and eBay. First thing that sold on Mercari were these Yoo-Hoo Friends plush set. Both of them were making sounds. And I just, I'm doing the lots. I think both of these, though, were from the St. Louis bins. So if you're new to my channel, we do these bins runs because sourcing here is awful. And so we just go ahead and make these trips, get a whole bunch of stuff all at once, bring them home, process them. And then when I run out of stuff to share with you guys in the haul videos or, and list them, then we go and plan another trip. So at St. Louis, we paid $2.09 a pound. If anything we pick up so far, our newest favorite place is Dayton, Ohio. And there, I think it's $1.99. Just so you know how much we spent. And then the second thing that sold on Mercari was this Fisher Price Little People Barn Pond and Garden Attachment. It sold for $12.75. And then on Poshmark, they had some, quite a few sales for just that 4-day period. So this first thing that sold was Animal Adventure Green Dinosaur from 2022, sold for $13. Next was this Little Tikes Red Gas Can for the Cozy Coop, sold for $8. I think I picked up like 3 of them at the bins. This probably is the last one. Kohl's, love finding Kohl's. This is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, sold for $10. Littlest Pet Shop, Pug, Poodle, and Jack Russell, sold for $10. Disney Frozen figure lot. I tend to, if I remember, I try to put cake toppers on there. Also, these make perfect, cake toppers for birthday parties. This lot sold for $20. Jake and the Neverland Pirates. Again, I had 1 or 2 of these in listings. Found some more at the bins. Took everything down. Made 1 large lot. And they also sold for $20. And last was these Kohl's Sesame Street, Cookie Monster, and Big Bird lot, sold for $15.
We're going to talk Poshmark for a second.
Yes.
But I got to remind Rebel to switch back to the other screen before we continue on with the what sold, because we did that once and that caused me a whole bunch of extra work.
extra work.
Behind the scenes things. So somebody had asked about fees, that they were interested in selling on Poshmark, but the fees were too much.
The 20%.
And they didn't like the 20% fee because eBay is only, we'll say 13.5%, because I think that's kind of its generic fee for most categories, if I'm remembering correctly. Somewhere in that neighborhood anyway.
I think like media and stuff like that is a little bit more, but yeah, for the most part, 13 point something.
And then I commented about how, if you're promoting on eBay, then that gets you closer to the 20%. And Laura left a comment that really hit it home too, is that Poshmark only charges the fees on the sale price.
The item price.
On the item price, whereas eBay charges fees on the item price, the shipping, and the sales tax.
Yep.
And once you start running those numbers in, then it becomes a whole lot closer.
Yep.
So I punched in some numbers here, pretending we made a $20 sale. About half the states charge sales tax on shipping. Yep. I think it's right at 25. So half and half. So if it's in a state that does not charge sales tax on shipping, by the time you add in eBay fees of $2.70 on the sale price, shipping of, I just figured $7, kind of a mid-range shipping price. That's 95 cents in fees. And then sales tax I calculated at $1.51, which is the average sales tax rate in the country, 7.53%. That's another 20 cents right there. And that comes out to a total of $3.85 in fees compared to the $4 fees you would have on this on Poshmark. If you're in one of the 25 states that charge sales tax on shipping, that adds another 7 cents in fees for $3.92. So you're only 8 cents difference in between eBay and Poshmark, or 15 cents, depending on which state you're in. So not very much at all. And if you're promoting at something small like 5%, 5% of $20 is $1. So if you're promoting at 5%, now you're getting hit for another $1. So it's actually more if you're doing pretty much any promoting on eBay. So the Poshmark fees, while they kind of scream loud at 20%, they aren't as all-inclusive of all the full price as eBay is.
That's right. Because as a seller on Poshmark, it's only 20% off what you sold the item for, because you never see the shipping. The shipping is between Poshmark and the buyer. So we're only charged 20% on that $20. So that would have been the $4. So, if you really think numbers, it's not much different. And it might even actually be better at this point for me, because my promotions, depending on how long it's been listed, is anywhere from 3% to 10%, unless it's newly listed. So I'm paying more for eBay. Plus on eBay, I run a sale. So by the time, this $20 item, I would have had to have listed it for like 25 and then the sale and then it's just, Poshmark's worth it. It's my second largest platform at this point. Does it beat eBay? No, not even close. But when eBay's down, I'm still making sales on Poshmark. So, to me, it has definitely been worth it. And I'm having great success, which is helping for me to stay motivated. Everything I list now, unless it's something specifically that shouldn't be on Poshmark.
Or something that's really cheap. And you're not listing much of that.
I'm not listing anything under $10. Yeah, I make some sales that are less than $10 because they've sent me an offer, and I do send offers. But for the most part, I'm just sticking with the $10 and up. And it's helping. It's helping a lot.
If you sell something on Poshmark for $10, you're actually under $15. It's $2.95. So if you sell something for $10, you're actually paying about 30% in fees.
Right.
But that's just because they have that flat rate under 15. So Poshmark is really not that much different than eBay.
And then I had 2 sales on Etsy. First one was this Russ Snuggle Bear plush, $19.85. I haven't started my sale yet. So this did sell on sale. So it sold for like $14.50 some cents. And then the second item is this Eden Toys Paddington Bear trinket box, sold for the 10% off. So $17.95. And then eBay. I had no high dollar sales, but a lot of bread and butter. So the ones that I'm going to share with you was a coffee mug. I still pick them up. But for the most part, I'm going to be steering clear of a lot of the ones that aren't high dollar or they don't have great sell-through rate. But for now, they're still selling. This one was from Treasure Craft. It was a Busch Gardens coffee mug, $8.96. Nanco Alien Plush. I tend to pick up a lot of them. I think I actually have a lot of these still now, but I had this one before I got the lot. This one sold for $8.96. Bread and butter, y'all. This was a Dog Tales jigsaw puzzle. I don't even remember the brand. I think maybe it was Dog Tales. It was complete. We did put it together. It was a fun puzzle. $8.96. Dandy Christmas Dog Plush sold for $16.51. So that was a good thing. And I just processed a little white one just like it. This was very, very quick. Didn't even have time to go on sale. This was a Lauer Toys Water Baby doll with the purple eyes. 6-inch, smaller doll, $24.95. I messed up on this one in the haul video, and I'm not even sure if it's been released yet, but in my brain, this was Dinosaur Train. Didn't even think about it as a character in Toy Story, but this actually is Trixie, the dinosaur from Toy Story 3, and y'all, it's a major bolo. And this is the 3-inch character. This is just a little figure. The larger one also sells for quite a bit. Sold, I think, in about, let me see. This would have sold probably on the 20th, and I listed it, no, probably sold the same day I listed it, 21st. So it sold about one day, $34. So definitely keep your eyes open for Trixie. I didn't watch any of the subsequent newer Toy Stories, so I really don't know the characters very well other than from reselling. Next thing that sold was this Miss Me women's sleeveless sweater. Y'all, I'm pretty sure this is picked up the same time that I bought that sweater that sold for like $200. What was it? Jenny Kane? I'm probably wrong.
I believe it's Jenny Kane.
Yeah. So this has been listed for a really, really long time. Finally sold though for $10. Everything we picked up that day was $1, including that sweater. All right, next, I just combined this in February. Let me think. Don't remember which one was listed first, but this is a blue narwhal and a gray beluga whale lot by Douglas, and they sold for $10. Spark Create Imagine brown dog plush, $8.96. Prestige baby white rabbit Lovey sold for $8.96. All right, and then Robert. He had 3 Poshmark and 3 eBay for that week. And this was this was the best sell for both of us for the entire week, 4 days. He sold these Lily Pulitzer men's Beaumont shorts with the little sailboats on them, sold on Poshmark for $44. Where did we pick them up?
Bonus yard sale on the way to Johnson City one day.
Oh, yeah. You instantly know Lily Pulitzer when you see it.
When I'm listing stuff now, I run them through Nifty's AI. It creates a listing for me. And then I go to look for the sold comps, and I take that URL and I drop it into Gemini AI to see if it gives me any additional info about pricing and stuff, and for Depop aesthetics and whatnot. And it told me that these were the What a Lovely Place style or something, and that was something people specifically searched for. So I added that in there.
They sold quickly. And then sold these Risen women's jean shorts for $18. American Eagle jean shorts for $13. Oh, and then 2 eBay orders. I left a tab up there. Another pair of American Eagle women's shorts for $15.01, and sandals. Pair of Clark's artisan sandals that sold for $14. We just picked up 2 more pairs of Clark's. It's just one of our go-to shoes. As long as we can get them for probably $1 to $3, we tend to pick them up. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you've not given Poshmark a try, give it a try. The fees aren't as bad as you think. Just pay attention to the rules, but be aware that they have a shipping charge for anything that's over 5 pounds to 10 pounds. So I tend to not even list anything that's over 5 pounds unless it was going to sell for a whole lot of money, because I want to say it's like $10 more if anything you sell is over the 5 pound limit.
And the seller pays that one, correct?
Yes, the seller pays that overage. The buyer's still only going to pay up to the 5 pounds. And then if you have to get a different label for more, then the seller pays that extra. So just be aware of that. And then like for me, I don't list anything under $10 just because it's a $2.95 charge.
Summer's coming, y'all. But it ain't feeling a whole lot like summer here yet.
It's cold here.
It's cool. This is the 2nd day of May. But it's normally a little warmer than this right now. So I'm kind of enjoying it, that it's not quite as warm, and Rebel is not enjoying this at all.
I have a shirt in the car that says, I think I've showed you guys it before, that says, yes, I'm cold 24/7. And I had to drag the shirt out today because it was too cold out looking at stuff at yard sales. But it will get warmer, and then I'll be complaining that it's too hot.
Yes, you will.
All right, y'all. It's time to get to work. Bye. It's cold in here. It's cold. It is blowing cold air.
Your heart's leaping.